Penguin Random House presents That's the Way We Met. Kya Life Hogi Set? By Sudeep Nagarkar. Read by Akshay Ghildiyal. To my love, wherever you are at the moment. Love asks me no questions and gives me endless support. William Shakespeare. Prologue. It was late evening when I called my girlfriend Riya several times on her mobile. On my repeated failure to get a response, I sent her a text message hoping she'd respond in time. But she didn't. Thinking she might be busy with regular household chores, I put my mind to rest and got busy with work. Unable to fully concentrate, I checked my mobile phone again. To my utter dismay, there was still no reply from her. Even though I could sense something fishy, I ignored it, choosing to wait for a few more minutes instead. Placing my phone on the table, I went to the washroom. Suddenly, the phone buzzed. I ran towards the table and grabbed it. It was an unknown number. I picked up the call immediately. "Hello, Riya," I said, my voice betraying my growing fear. "Good evening, sir. We are calling from Vodafone. Your phone number has been selected for a special offer. Would you—" Before he could get a chance to finish, I slammed down the phone in anger. My frustration had reached its peak. I wanted to scream my lungs out at the customer care executive, but was not in a mood to argue since I wanted to focus all my energy on finding Riya. I disconnected the call and dialed Riya's number again, but failed to get a response. Where the hell could she be? I muttered under my breath. Left with no option, I decided to go to her flat in Navi Mumbai. I took my bike keys and left home. All through the way, I tried to remain calm, convincing myself that nothing had happened. As I entered the apartment complex, I noticed that her scooty was missing from its usual parking spot. I went upstairs and rang the doorbell. Unable to get a response, I rang the bell again and tried to peek in through the keyhole. I soon concluded that no one was at home and left. I tried searching for her scooty in the entire complex, but was unsuccessful. Throughout my search mission, I kept on calling her incessantly, thinking she might respond. Feeling dejected, I was on my way back home when I happened to see her scooty parked outside a hospital not far from her place. I brought my bike to a screeching halt and rushed towards the hospital. Once in, I went straight to the reception desk and enquired, "Could you please check if you have registered a patient by the name of Riya in your hospital?" The receptionist must have sensed something was wrong, as she immediately opened the register and started searching for Riya's name. I tried to maintain my cool, even though I was almost in tears. Keeping my fingers crossed, I closed my eyes for a moment and murmured a short prayer. "I'm sorry, sir. I don't seem to have made any entry by that name," the receptionist replied in a matter-of-fact tone. I gave her a feeble smile and turned to leave, only to see Riya's brother walking towards me with a medicine packet in his hand. He swiftly walked by and seemed to be in a hurry. Before I could call out to him and ask what the hell was happening, he had reached the end of the flight of stairs leading to the first floor. I went to the receptionist's desk again to doubly confirm. "Please, can you check your database again? The person who just went upstairs is the girl's brother. Which room is he headed towards?" "Hold on, let me check again," she said, looking for another register. "Yes, go to room number 306, first floor," she replied. "One last thing. Can you please tell me who is admitted in that room?" I somehow mustered the courage to ask her. "A girl named Riya. Sorry, I missed that entry earlier," she said in an apologetic tone. I stood there in silence, like the world around me had come crashing down. Was it something serious? Why she did not inform me? My head was throbbing with a million unanswered questions. We had made a solemn promise never to cry if ever such a situation arose. But at that moment I felt myself breaking the promise. How could I control my feelings? I wanted to tell Riya that I would give her anything she needed. Hugs, kisses, anything. But don't meet me in this glum hospital as a patient. I could barely move my feet. What if something terrible had happened to her? I reached room number 306 and slightly pushed the door ajar. My worst fears came true when I saw Riya lying on the bed. She seemed to be asleep. Her mother was sitting next to her, holding Riya's hand affectionately. At that moment, I was terribly afraid. "Is she fine?" I asked her mom, who got up from her chair and looked at me with somber expression on her face. She remained quiet for a bit. Not knowing whether she hadn't heard me for real or whether she was choosing to ignore me on purpose, I repeated my question. Before she could answer, I saw Riya make an attempt to open her heavily sedated eyes. Seeing me, she tried to lift her head up and say something, but looking at the frailty of her condition, I stopped her from doing so, gently stroking her forehead. "What happened, Bachcha? I tried calling you so many times. Why didn't you inform me that you were ill?" I desperately wanted to know what was happening. Riya didn't speak a word but kept crying. I wiped the tears from her face and calmed her down. "Please tell me what happened," I continued. "I'm dying each second here." She still remained quiet. Her hands lifted the cloth that covered her body. I stopped dead in my tracks. What I saw before me was a nightmare. Riya's body had been strapped with electrodes, and there was an IV drip line going through her wrist. I clutched her hand tightly as tears began to trickle down my cheeks. "Riya, please tell me what has happened to you," I pleaded. Before she could answer, a doctor entered the room, followed closely by Riya's dad, who gave me a look of utter contempt, as if I was a stranger who had barged into their private space. Riya's mom explained to him that I was her friend who had simply come to inquire about her well-being. Hearing this, he calmed down and glanced at Riya with concern, discussing something in hushed tones with the doctor. "We will have to shift her to Sanjeevani Hospital tomorrow. They can treat her better there," said the doctor. Her dad nodded in agreement and went out with his wife to complete the necessary transfer formalities. Left to ourselves, I cast a glance at Riya. Even though her eyes were closed, she didn't let go of her grip on my hand. I felt insecure. I felt alone. "Don't worry, dear. We are all with you. You will get well soon," I assured her with all my heart. Leaving her to rest, I went outside and called Samir, my close friend. He was the only person whom I could count on in such a situation. I explained to him the gravity of her condition and asked him to reach Sanjeevani Hospital as quickly as he could. Samir gave me a call once he reached the hospital. He was waiting for me near the parking area and asked me to meet him there. "I can't understand anything, Samir. I'm out of my mind with worry. I didn't know anything was amiss with her health," I said to him as we walked towards the lobby. "Don't worry. It won't turn out to be anything serious. If it was something serious, she would have discussed it with you, or at least let you know," said Samir, trying to calm me down. All the beloved memories from our time spent together came flashing in front of my eyes, and I was overcome with a sudden urge to hear her voice, to see her smile, to hold her in my arms. Seeing Ria's mom come walking towards me, I hurriedly wiped my tears and gave a
Sample complete. Ready to continue?